Hello, it's Doug the 2 Minute Gardener. Oh, there's one I get all the time. My slope looks terrible. What can I do? We're going to talk about slope solutions for your backyard, covering everything from different kinds of retaining walls to different kinds of plants and how to plant them. So let's look at two projects I did here in San Diego involving new retaining walls. So this first one, as you can see, it was just landsliding away into the pool, making a giant mess every winter. And so what we did is tore down the existing inadequate wall to build a much bigger wall to give a nice walkway around the pool, but also to really stabilize the slope. We actually did a couple of walls, as you're going to see. So this particular wall is a CMU block wall. It's a concrete masonry unit, and it requires a big footing because it is a very heavy wall. And so concrete footing, rebar reinforcement to do this. Now, again, whenever you're doing these walls, you want to get the proper permits depending on where you live and what the requirements are. So here we have the CMU block. It's going up. Once you get that bottom level in, it's fairly quick. Now, granted, it's also a very heavy unit, so these guys had to be really strong to do it. Now, it's also really important when you're doing these walls that if it's a CMU block wall, you want to do this waterproof sealer on the back because you're going to install a French drain to make sure there's not too much water pressure against the back of that wall. So after you put that waterproof sealer on there, then you're going to install the French drain. And behind the wall, you install gravel to direct all that water down into the French drain and away from the wall so it drains well. Otherwise, you're just going to keep having water slamming into the wall and the wall will fail eventually. So really important that whenever you're doing retaining walls, make sure you do those French drains, both CMU block wall and later years you're going to see a keystone wall. All right, as you can see, we're now working on the second wall because we actually need 3 walls for this particular project. We are creating this cool patio up high so they can see over the top of their house. And so once those walls are done, we're going to do some concrete stairs to get up there because that's just kind of a really easy way to do it. Now, the rest of the pool area we're doing with these beautiful pavers, both at the very highest patio and then a new paver deck around the pools. So it's going to look really great. Once again, let's look at that before and now here's the after. As you can see, we've created a beautiful patio around the pool as well as a really cool patio up on top. And there's even now a little side patio with a really cool shade structure. As part of this project, we also redid the pool itself with new coping, new plaster. We put some lights in the pool. It's a really beautiful retrofit. Really adds a lot of ambiance to this particular backyard with all the work that happened. It took a while, but it really turned out great. Let's look at a different way to conquer the slope, this time using CMU blocks. And similar bad, ugly wall in another part of here in San Diego. This one's a sunnier one, didn't have all that eucalyptus, so it had a lot of miscellaneous scraggly things. One of the folks that people don't realize is eucalyptus trees kill everything underneath it, so nothing's going to grow on a eucalyptus slope. This one didn't have eucalyptus, but it had a whole lot of just nasty plants. And again, they wanted to create a patio up high so they could see over the house. In this particular case, this house was in Poway, and they wanted to be able to see the fireworks show every 4th of July. So this is a keystone wall by Bellegarde, and these are heavy stack walls. They are rated to go up to 6 feet, in fact. Now, again, typically you want to use keystone walls in 3 foot because you don't have to do the permitting, at least here in San Diego. But it's no big deal to get a permit if you need to do that. It's just a matter of submitting the proper paperwork. So again, once we've done the keystone wall, it's time to add the French drain. Always add that French drain. And we're going to talk more about French drains in just a second, but basically French drain is that perforated pipe. You wrap it with the sleeve to keep the silt out of it, and then you put it behind the wall gets sealed. This ended up being another paver job, and a barbecue. We built a barbecue into it as well as adding the steps. Here is that before, and here is that after built the steps up, and now we have some landing areas for seating and other things. Lots of versatility in this backyard, about 2/3 of the way up the slope. And then the very top of the slope, we're going to plant. Because you don't have to terrace the entire slope. You just want to go up maybe 1 or 2 levels. So now let's talk about how to plant a slope. And we're going to look at the basics of planting a slope, and then we'll come back and talk about what plants to put on the slope, both Mediterranean and succulent plants that I love to use for slopes all over the county here. So first thing you got to do, and here's your typical ugly slope with the weeds and stuff you saw in the previous project, is you got to clear all that debris off of there. Clear it off. If you're going to do any terracing, great. But you don't have to terrace it just to make it a nice slope planting area. Once you've scraped all that dirt, the next thing you have to do is adjust the irrigation. Now, depending on the size of the slope and the steepness of the slope, you could do rotors on the slope. You could also do drip irrigation. It depends on the steepness of the slope and the plants. After you've done that, you want to make sure to amend the soil, because odds are, if you're here in Southern California, your soil is crapola. So depending on what kind of soil you have, I would at the minimum recommend adding Grow Power Plus to it. I also love using that soil conditioner for heavy clay soils, and then you put some grow mulch in on the top of it. Once you've done all that amendment, you cover the soil slope up with jute netting. Jute netting is the most important aspect of this entire sequence for doing a slope planting project, because it holds the soil in, it holds the bark in place, it actually also holds the water. It keeps the water from running down the hill and causing excessive runoff. After you've done the jute, time to plant the plants. And again, we're going to talk about 20 wonderful plants for slopes in just a couple of minutes. And basically what you do is you kind of just tear a little hole in the jute netting, dig the whole dirt out, use that dirt on the downhill side of the plant to make a little watering berm to help that little baby plant get off to a good start. Then you want to add some slow release fertilizers in the hole when you're planting it. After you've done all that planting, cover everything up with shredded mulch. Not bark mulch that's going to roll around on the first storm, but shredded mulch that will grab onto the jute netting. By the way, hit that like and subscribe button if you are getting value from this video. If you have a backyard that doesn't have dogs or small kids, throw a pre-emergent on there. What this does is it stops weeds from germinating, so you won't have an excessive amount of weeds. Remember, you're adding all this wonderful soil and water. The weeds are going to come back if you stop them, unless you stop them with a soil germinator. Now, again, if you have dogs that are going to run around the slope, don't use this product. It is an herbicide. Once you've planted all the plants, adjust that irrigation. Now that you know where the plants are, move the drip heads around, move the rotors if you need be, adjust how big the rotors are going to get. That's another great example of the drip irrigation running to all the individual plants. And then finally, water it all down. Get the dust, bark, and preen off those foliage, and then it's going to be a really happy slope. Now, let's talk about 20 wonderful plants. These are 10 Mediterranean plants and 10 succulents. 10 Mediterranean style plants. First up, bougainvillea. Comes in lots of great colors. Beautiful color all year round. Is a little frost sensitive. Rosemary is just an incredibly tough plant. It really is a wonderful plant, great for cooking. Prostrate acacia will just cover about 10 feet per plant. It is a big, rangy, good for steep, nasty slopes. Creeping moor pine is a nice ground cover. Not good for slopes that have any dogs running around them. They are kind of sensitive. Here's a great tree for slopes. This one is extremely drought tolerant. The Mexican Palo Verde blooms in the summertime. On a slope, it's going to get 20 feet tall by 20 feet wide. There are some dwarf varieties out there if you have kind of a smaller area. And again, there is a list of all of these plants in the video description and the comment section as well. One of my favorite Mediterranean plants, California native Cleveland sage. wonderfully tough fragrant plant, as you saw in last week's video series on 20 wonderful fragrant plants. One of the best ones out there, elephant food. And I know this is kind of more of a succulent than a Mediterranean plant, but that's my starter plant for almost every slope because it is so tough and will spread almost like a ground cover. And of course, Cape Plumbago here in San Diego is a great plant because rabbits hate it. They won't mess with a Cape Plumbago and it'll kind of sprawl around, really low maintenance. Orchid rock rose is brilliantly beautiful in the spring with those pink flowers. And of course, my favorite plant for slopes here in San Diego is the legendary California native Ceanothus. About 30 different varieties here in Southern California you can get. Some are big shrubs, some are ground covers like this Yankee Point, but a very tough drought tolerant plant. So now let's look at some succulents. This is really good if you want something that's even lower water, but also if you live in an area where there are fire issues. Some of those plants you saw in the previous series, like Ceanothus, are a little flammable. If you live someplace close to a canyon, you want to have succulents because those are much more fire resistant. So starting with yuccas, practically indestructible plant, wonderful flowers in the spring. The Octopus Agave is a very unusual plant. Now, agaves, I don't know if you remember from my previous series, flower once in their lifetime and then they die. But by the time they flower and die, they have pups at the base. This one is the coolest of all agaves because that flower is 10 to 15 feet tall. It is really cool. And there's that elephant food again. Sticks on fire, very tough, but poisonous, so not for good for backyards with dogs and kids, but very colorful and tough. And of course, the foxtail agave grows like a weed here in Southern California. Really beautiful. The blue agave, a close cousin to the tequila agave, which is also a very good plant for slopes. Those big agaves are just wonderful. Blue agave gives you some nice contrast. The calandrinia, the rock purslane, has these beautiful pink flowers in the springtime. And of course, of all the aloes, this is my favorite, the coral aloe. It's just a great hummingbird plant. Oh my goodness. Hummingbirds love these spring flowers. It's just a fabulous plant. Most aloes have a wonderful tubular orange flower that hummingbirds really love. As far as ground covers go, the blue chalk sticks is really, really, really reliable, just great. And as far as the toughest thing you could stick on a slope, the American agave. And the variegated one's really pretty too, but this is a really big plant, 8 feet wide by 6 feet tall. It can be just a giant plant. Well, that's all for now. Don't forget to hit that like, hype, and subscribe button. And good luck with your landscape project. This is Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener, saying thanks for watching.